Good evening, everyone.
You gotta
Thank
put the
you.
PowerPoint back up.
I am. I just wanted
Okay.
to show my face real quick. Thank you for joining us this evening for our 25-26 Leaf season presentation. Just to let you know, this meeting will be recorded. For those who are not able to join, I will be sending this recording out to all ANC commissioners, and it will also be included in our Friday DPW service level emails that go out to you all every week, as well as posted on our website. So I'm going to share my screen to get the presentation going, and we can get this meeting started. Thank you again for joining us this evening.
All right. Thank you, Randy. My name is Eddie Sanders the third. I am the Associate Administrator for Department of Public Works, and I am the manager, overall seer of Leaf Collection 2025 toward 2026. Um, while we're going through the presentation, if you want to write down your questions and hold them to the end, between me, Randy, we will answer any questions that you have at the end. Randy, can you go to the next slide?
Sorry. Give me 1 second. I don't see. Oh, here we go.
Okay, for this year's 2025 lease season, the start date will be November the 3rd, and the end date will be the first week in February. All collections of leaves will be from household and buildings that DPW services. Any apartment buildings, businesses should schedule their pickup of leaves through a private company. Wards 1 through 8, each ward has 4 sections, which is A through D. First week of leaf season, we will start in our A section and continue on to the D section, and we will repeat the A section. There will be 2 cycle collections this season for leaf season. So each household or each street will get 2 collections this year. The collections will take place Monday through Saturday, and we're off on Sundays. Um, right now, with approval of the director, I know we will be working on Thanksgiving, and we're off on Christmas Day. Next slide. Our equipment this year, we'll be using our leaf vacs, sweepers, small tools, rakes and shovels, our leaf blowers. As you can see in the picture, top right, um, we went away from using the gas blowers and now we're going green, working with the electric blowers. We purchased Greenworks electric blowers, and we also just purchased a new model that's I want to say a little powerful than the Greenworks that we have. So we're still in the process of testing the best electric blowers to best fit the need that we have during our leaf season. We also introduced our front end loader bucket loader, which will be in the heavy sections in the big wards like wards 4 and wards 3. You may not see this particular piece of equipment in wards like 1 and 2 because their streets are more smaller and they have more one-way streets. But we did purchase 2 new one leaf vax for the purpose of the small streets and wards like 1 and 2 that have very tight streets. It doesn't need a 4, 5, 6 man crew. All it needs is a driver and a tech, and we will be using that through the smaller wards and for any 311 calls, any service requests that's been generated in the system. Next slide, Randy. For a DPW website, you can get residents can get weekly updates. All they have to do is go to dpw.dc.gov/leaf, and they can get any updates. They can get the expectations, how to rake, and when collection begins. Any inclement weather, any changes within leaf season dates or anything, they can go on that website and it will give you everything you need to know about leaf season. The next slide. This is our leaf tracker, and this is what I use to see where our crews are. As you can see, the whole map is red. Just giving an example, if we were in, just say 6A, which is in the middle of the map, once the supervisor and the crews go through a street, they will close the street out in real time, and that particular block will be green. It will turn green. We use this every day, all day, to locate our crews, find out what's in the making for the following day for our crews. And before the first cycle is completed, you will see the whole map turn green. Next slide, Randy. Reporting miscollections. This is very important that we get citizens calling in saying that our crews missed their street or missed their block. I want to say that a miscollection for us is probably something different for a citizen. When we say a miscollection, we mean if one side of the street didn't get collected or both sides of the street didn't get collected. We tend to come into situations where citizens even have contractors come. But once we've gone through, rake the leaves, vacuum the leaves, and sweep the leaves, some citizens come out after we're gone, or some contractors come and dump leaves in front of whoever house they are working for. That is not a miscollection. That is a late rake out for a collection. Um, so if we get those, the citizen can call 311, put in a service request, but we rather them put in a service request once they see that we're completed the A section. For example, if we're still in the A section, and they can look on the leaf tracker on the previous slide that we had, if they see that we're still in the A section, there's no need for them to put in a service request because we just probably didn't get to their street. Now, if they see us any completed streets in section B, we rather them put service requests in section A. That means we can have special crew to go back and collect those leaves instead of waiting to their next cycle. Next slide, Randy.
Okay, I'm up now.
So I'm going to pass it on to Randy because she's the one that's going to be spreading the word.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Again, my name is Randy Thorpe, and I am DPW's Community Relations Specialist. And I'm going to speak on how residents will be informed regarding our leaf season process. So we have multiple ways that we inform residents and stakeholders regarding our leaf collection. We use our DPW website, our social media pages, Twitter, formerly known as X, Facebook, Instagram, and Nextdoor. Our DPW newsletter, which we encourage residents and stakeholders to subscribe to. Our DPW app, which is called My DPW app, which can be downloaded via the Apple Play Store and the Google Store on your mobile device, and you'll receive real-time alerts every Friday regarding our leaf collection process. And as I mentioned, Nextdoor is another avenue. Popville, their online website will be posting our leaf collection news there as well. Radio 1, WTOP, and the Washington Informer. We're also going to have some print ads in the Hill Rag, East of the River, and DC Mid-City. In addition to that, we will be doing this type of briefing like we're doing today for you ANC commissioners. We gave a briefing to the MOKers last week, and this Thursday coming up, we will have a briefing for the council constituent staff services. The last way you can reach find out about information regarding LEAF, is through our LEAF line. And that number is 202-671-LEAF, which is 5323. You can tune in to channel 16 and scan the QR code, which will direct you to our website where you can get information there. And our LEAF brochures will be mailed out to residents who receive our collection services in the coming weeks. So I want to speak a little bit about our app. As I mentioned before, you can download our app from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. And not only will you receive leaf collection information, you receive all collections and anything pertaining to DPW. So I strongly encourage to encourage your constituents to download the app. Our social media messaging. This is an example of what it would look like. I think this is Twitter, X, formerly known as Twitter. So right here on the right-hand side, you'll see what the leaf collection, just like an announcement, would look like to say we're in section B. And every day during the week, we will be messaging via social media. On Sundays, there will be a reminder to rake out the leaves in the coming weeks and which zone that should rake out or section. On Monday, you'll get another reminder in your zone, which zone should rake out. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, we'll be posting videos and photos of our collection crews out on the street performing the leaf collection. And then on Friday is a very important day because that's when the new information comes out. That's when our leaf line is updated. That's when the app message goes out. And that's when the DPW service level email, that's when the zone comes out. So Friday is the most important day regarding when the new notification will go out regarding the section that we're in or the section that should be getting ready to rake out. And when we send these messages out, like for instance, leaf collection starts November 3rd. So every section will get 10 days prior to their section being serviced notification to rake out. So 2 weeks prior to the start of leaf collection, Section A will be notified, hey, it's time to rake out. And then that following week, the week before, our crews actually come, they'll get another notice to say, hey, we're coming on this day to rake out. So we are providing ample time for residents to know when we're coming and when to rake out. This is another example of things that we post via social media, how it may look. To the far left is an example of that Tuesday, Wednesday, real-time action of our crews out in the street, as well as the one in the middle right here. And then on the end, the one you saw earlier, this, if you read the top, it would be saying, hey, Section B, leaf collection is here. Your first pass will start November 3rd. Time to rake out. Leave your curbs at the tree box or the curbside. And again, it'll give you our website to get more information as well as our leaf line. This is an example of our brochure that will be being mailed out soon. And these will be mailed out to all DPW household services. So the leaf collection is strictly for DPW service households. So if we get your trash and recycling, we will be on your street to collect your leaves, and you will receive one of these brochures in the mail. And it'll have a QR code, as you can see on the bottom, to our leaf tracker page, which is on our website, to input your address to see what section you're in. And we're also going to have a small Q&A section, or I believe a link to our page for the Q&A section. And I'm just going to go back real quick to the tracker because I wanted to show you all right here. This section right here that I'm hovering over is where you input your address to see what section you're in. So when you input your address, the map is going to zoom in to the section that is in relation to your address. We had a lot of questions about that last year, so I just want to make sure that everyone's aware where to put your address in. Example of our emailed stakeholders newsletter that I mentioned. This is what it would look like in our newsletter that you all will receive regarding what section we're in. And if you look at the bottom, leaf collection in section B begins November. This is from last year. Begins November 11th. First pass of collection in section B will begin November 11th. If you live in section B, have your leaves raked out by Sunday. The day before, the crews come on that Monday. So this is an example of what that notification looks like from our newsletter. All right, now we've come to the best part of this presentation, hearing from you all with your questions. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. We did get one question prior to the meeting because we had a question submission for you all to fill out, and we did get one question, and it was regarding the budget. Let me see if I can go to this real quick, see if I can pull it up. Okay, so the question was, will the budget cut impact the service level? Will the level of service be less compared to last fiscal year? I cannot answer that question because I'm not in finance, nor in operations. Eddie, I don't know if you would be privy to answer that question. And if not, then what we can do is get that answer for you and follow up with
you. No, I don't have that answer.
you.
As
Okay.
far as the budget wise, yes.
Okay, no worries. Okay, what I'll do is I'll get that answer for you and just send it out. When I send out this recording to all the ANC commissioners, I'll send that response to you all as well. Commissioner Niagara, I see you have a question. Are you unable to mute yourself, or do I need to unmute you? Okay, let me see if I can unmute you. Okay, see if you should be able to unmute yourself now.
Hey, Randy, thanks very much.
No problem.
So I think it's great, and I love the app, and I this is a great program, and you guys are normally do it pretty well, but sometimes the past couple of years, there's always like one block that just doesn't get hit. I mean, it's just a bad scene, and they complain and they complain and complain. So are you saying to me, so if I send you an email, let me see if I understand the timing. If a block doesn't happen right during this time frame, how long would it take for you guys to come back and do it?
Are you speaking of if we've completely left the section? Because we
Yes.
want, okay. So in
And it
another
has
meeting,
happened. So
okay, in another meeting that we had earlier this week, that question was raised regarding the SLA on the service request through OUC. So what we decided we were going to do is get in contact with OUC, because I believe, Eddie, you can correct me if I'm wrong, that the SLA was like 3 weeks out from the date of submission. So what we're going to do is get in contact with OUC and see if we can get that adjusted, because 3 weeks is quite a while. So we actually did have that question raised at another meeting.
but what if I send you an email? Like, you love my emails. I know you do, Randy. How many
I
emails?
do.
What if I send you an email? What happens? Like, oh, the 400 block of M Street was completely missed, and I send you an email. Then what
Mhm.
happens?
Well, if you send me an email, then I'm going to send the email to Eddie and let Eddie know that the 400 block of whatever street was missed.
Okay. And then if my constituents call, then you're going to try and adjust the time frame.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yes.
great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Randy,
Hey, Randy.
Yes.
Oh, go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead,
go
Evan.
ahead. Go. Also, Randy, what we were speaking about on the other meeting, that was for bag collection for the 3 weeks out that they scheduled for
Okay.
311 service requests for leaf seed for missed collection is 8 business days to be completed.
And that's for the bag leaves.
No, the bag leaves was out for 3 weeks, 3 weeks out. The 8 business days is for miss leaf collection for a street
Got you.
for a
Okay.
service request. Yes.
Hello, everyone. I am Warnique West. I am the solid waste administrator. First, let me apologize for joining late. Um, but in reference to the emails of the miscollections, so what happens is that once Randy sends those over, we then one have to send a supervisor out to actually survey and ensure that that's what's going on, because sometimes we have a miscollection that the street could have got done, however, but then there's one pile of leaves on there, right? And so we're trying to also ensure that, yeah, we're going to come back and get it, whether the entire street was missed, or even if it was just someone putting leaves out late and saying that it was a miscollection. However, if a supervisor gets out there and and sees that the entire street has been missed, um, as the administrator, or even with Eddie or our other associate, will definitely direct them to get a crew out there as soon as possible within the next couple of days. We are not going to wait until 8 days. We're going to try to get someone out there within the next couple of days. So it kind of, it first has to be surveyed first.
Thank you, Nikki, for joining. I didn't see that you were on. Thank you so much for joining. And while you're on, I would like to know if I can ask you this question that I was unable to answer that was submitted prior to the meeting regarding the budget. The question was, will the budget cut impact service level, and will the level of service be less compared to last fiscal year?
So no, at this point we were not our leap season program was not cut. We still have the same we were given the same amount of employees. We still have the same amount of equipment that we got. The only difference that may impact us is that at times we were able to do overtime because of different things that may happen. So like let's say during the week, let's say Monday and Tuesday it rained, right? And the rain kind of slowed us down. We can then in years prior we can ask for overtime to say, hey, being so that it rained and we worked but we wasn't able to do as much work, can we get overtime to work? um we per se don't have the authority to do that right in DPW. We have to reach out and get a waiver for overtime and things like that. So it has to go up through the CAs and the mayor's office for us to get approval on if we can do the overtime. So right now, overtime has been very limited and cut unless it is prior approved.
Okay, thank you. So I see Commissioner Brown, you have a question, and then I see Commissioner Romowski had a question regarding speaking in more in depth about the bag leaf collection. So we'll answer that question after Commissioner Brown's question.
Thank you. And I'd like to echo the sentiment of how grateful I am for this service. I think it's one of the most efficient things the city offers. The past couple of years, we have had issues with some blocks being passed over altogether and never collected. And I had to file a service request for my own address, and I listed a number of addresses in my single member district that didn't get collected. And they came to my house in my block, but they didn't hit the 2 blocks adjacent to mine. And to this day, they never got collected. Um, my question is about slack in the schedule. How much leeway do you all have to accommodate inclement weather? Because I know that was one of the challenges. Our first pass came before the leaves even dropped. So you came through here, there were no leaves to rake. And the second pass, we had snow, we had rain, kept getting pushed out. And when it actually got scheduled, it was, probably the day after a rain where people were not able to rake their leaves to the curb. So that's my question about accommodating inclement weather, not just rescheduling it, but giving residents time to pivot and time for the leaves to dry sufficiently to be able to rake to the curb.
So thank you, Commissioner Brown. As a Ward 8 resident myself, I understand your challenges. I live on one of these streets that doesn't have many trees, at least not on my side of the street, but the apartment complex on the other side has trees, and so with saying that sometimes the trucks or sweepers. So for instance, my street, I live on Stanton Road. And part of my street doesn't require a vac to come down, right? Because it just aren't that many leaves. Whereas though that a sweeper can come down and pick up the amount of leaves that we have. On my particular side of the street, we have no trees. But on the adjacent side, they have a tree, and sometimes they rake the leaves, sometimes they don't. So I know it can be kind of hard. And saying that, hey, well, maybe they didn't come down, and then it could have been a sweeper and not so much a vac. That's one. Um, Two, when it comes to any slack as far as in the schedule, there isn't any. What happens is that this is a 12-week program, right? And when snow comes up, it pushes the time back. I mean, last year was a very challenging time, not just with the amount of snow that we had, the amount of we had different national security special events that happened to include inauguration, President Carter funeral, which pulled away from our resources too. So there isn't much slack. For us that has been around for some time, what we try to do is in some wards, the supervisor and crews are able to finish earlier. So there may be parts in Ward 8 that they may can get out early, where they've been through the entire part of the section, or maybe parts in Ward 7, maybe parts in Ward 1, and different areas where they're able to get out a little bit earlier, and we're able to help out. We're able to send wards other places, and that's what we try to do. However, again, like I said, this program is only slated for 12 weeks. So once those 12 weeks are up, we drop off and lose half of the employees. So um like right now we got drivers just coming in. We got sanitation workers that'll be coming in 2 weeks from now, but their not to exceed date for the sanitation workers is in January, right? Sometimes we get an extension in the budget to be able to push them an additional pay period, so it's additional 2 weeks, but that's not always the case. And with this current budget situation going on, that isn't something that I can tell you that can happen right now. And again, I also can't call what the weather may be, but there has been times in years past where we have asked for an extension. Um, but like I said, with that being said, we lose half of the workforce at a certain period of time once the leaf season program is over for what it's budgeted for. If that answers your question.
No, it doesn't.
Okay,
So,
go ahead.
you answered part of it when you said there's no slack in your schedule.
Hmm.
Um, and I wasn't aware of resources being pulled for the national emergencies and other situations. So that explains it more so than the weather, because we have inclement weather every year. That's a given.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
in years past, I've seen you all be very agile and adjust your schedules to accommodate that.
Hmm.
I haven't seen it in the past couple of years. Again, not being mindful of the other events in the city that pull your resources away. Second part, and I live on the southwest side, in Bellevue, off South Capitol Street, where I am is all houses, and we have a heavy canopy front and back, lots of leaves. So when we are missed, it has serious impact because some people have their leaves in the street. People can't park. And then we need the street sweepers to follow. They don't always follow after the vacuuming of the leaves.
So and part of the and you are absolutely right. Where you live over there in Bellevue, you are absolutely right with the amount of leaves that you guys have. Sometimes the problem is, so those sweepers, right? There's only a certain temperature, because those sweepers have water that runs through them. So after a certain temperature, we can't even use them, right? Because if not, when it gets to a freezing level, if we have those sweepers out there and the water that runs through them, what'll happen is that it'll bust hoses, bust lines. Now we have an additional problem. So sometimes we're unable to have the sweeper because the sweepers, unlike the other big vehicles, don't run on purely hydraulics. They have water lines that run through where those brooms and stuff like that. So it's unable to always get that sweeper out at certain temperatures. But then, like I said, the same staff that we have for snow, for leaf, for national security events, it's all the same staff. We have to pivot and change up to do all these different things. And sometimes, like you said, it's hard to kind of reschedule. But then when we do reschedule, it isn't a whole lot of notice. And what we're trying to do is like, okay, you know what? We're trying to get right back out there to get these leads up as quick as we can. And I do understand your frustration of not getting the additional notice. Just, all I can say, I guess, for now is that when the inclement weather changes and it eases up, our main priority is to get back to picking up leaves once we're able to, along with back to ensuring that we're trying to get around to collect your trash and recycling. And it's an ongoing challenge and process, but we are doing the best we can to make sure that we're serving the districts in the best way possible.
Yeah, and thank you. It's not a complaint. It's just sharing information to help us both serve our constituents better. And to Randy's credit, she's very responsive. And it's because of her that I was able to follow up this past season and get some things done. So thank y'all. Keep doing it. And we'll look forward to this coming season.
No problem. Thank you so much, Commissioner Brown. Randy? Back over to you.
Thank you, Commissioner Brown. Okay, so we had another question in the Q&A portion regarding bag leaves. Can we talk more about bag leaf collection, placement at curb or alley, 311 requests needed, etc.?
So, for bag leaves, and I'll let Eddie speak after me. Bag leaves. As I stated, I am the administrator for the solid waste. So not only is the leaf program under me, the trash and recycling is under me. I am also the citywide snow coordinator. So I wear a couple of hats, trying to get all this stuff done. But for your leaves, as the district, we do not collect, collect leaves in the alley. And even though your trash is there, preferably leaf bags should be placed in the front of the home. Um, and when you place them in the back, the trash collectors are not going to collect them. It's going to be commingling if we do, so we're not going to collect them. But however, there do come a time where we send a blitz and we come through and we collect bags in the alley. But first preference for us will be to put them in the front, on the in your tree box space for us to get them, not in the streets but in your tree box space area. Eddie, ready, repeat that question. I know there was some additional information that was needed also.
The placement of the leaves, should they be at the curb or the alley? And 311 requests needed. What 311 request is needed for the collection of the bag leaves?
So we're going to also have trucks roaming, going through the sections that they're in, whether that's your A section or B section. During the time while we're in there, we constantly have a packer roaming throughout the ward. We are watching them and monitoring them as they go, so we're able to see what streets they were on. Excuse me, my suggestion would be that whenever your leads are to be raked out, that you're also putting the bags there, because what happens is, right, that truck could have came through your section and then, oh, well, I didn't put my bags out. I didn't know when I had my put my bags out. So it's just best to put them out at the beginning, and as we're riding through, um we will collect them again. Like I said, we are tracking those trucks and their movements to see what streets they've been to and where they've been at. You can also still put in a 311 request, and as we stated, there is a schedule or an SLA date that we have in order to collect them, and we will get back to collecting them, as we are closing out those service requests.
Thanks, Nikki. Oh, did Eddie, did you have anything you wanted to add to that, or did she cover it?
No, Nikki said what we had to do.
Okay. I saw Commissioner Hickman. Do you have a question?
Hey, good evening, everyone. I did. I put it in the Q&A, but I can go ahead and I can read it. But I was first of all saying great
Oh,
information and avenues for information. So thank you. Um, Question: will there be notifications provided for street time, pickup time? You know, and will there be parking restrictions on the targeted dates?
So we don't have exact times on when we will be in your area. The comms team will speak to how they put out the messaging. Normally, we put out messaging a week before that, hey, we're coming. So many days they get out a reminder on when we're coming. Um, in the very beginning, um, we're doing 2 weeks in a section. Then we go down to 1 week. So the comms team, like I said, they're putting out that information. They can tell you the platforms that they're putting it on. There isn't no parking restrictions. We don't per se put up emergency no parking signs, unless there is a street that we're having very hard problems in getting into, and we need, in order for us to get the vac truck in there to get up the leaves, then they may say, hey, we need to shut down the street in order for us to get in there. But normally there isn't no parking restrictions. We're not bringing in tow trucks to tow people cars or anything like that. As a courtesy, we may can ask that, hey, can we ask the residents that they can move their cars just so we can try to get in where, and these are normally streets where it's maybe a dead end and we can't get down and we can't safely back down the street. and try to pull the leaves all to one side in order to get them. But those are extreme circumstances, and it's very rare that we get into those type of situations.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Okay, are there any other questions? No? Okay. All right, well, it is 6:15. Let me provide you all with our link to our DPW newsletter. I will add that to the Q&A portion. It is dpw.dc.gov/DPW newsletter. In case you all didn't have that already. And as I stated earlier, thank you all for joining this meeting this evening. We appreciate you spending your Tuesday evening with us to learn about our leaf collection program. Again, this meeting was recorded, and the recording will be sent out to all ANC commissioners in the coming days. And thank you again for joining, and have a good evening.